Hello, it's Wednesday and welcome to another edition of the SPFL Through the Lens. And this week, joining Jason and myself is a man that does things like this.
Forward by Conrad. Oh, and here's MacDonald, he's in behind! And Peter MacDonald has found the back of the net. A game that looked destined for a 0-0 draw.
It's a finish, wee man.
Bad foot.
It's a finish.
Mr. Peter Peaso MacDonald, how are we?
I'm good, how are you?
Excellent, mate, excellent. Some good times there, eh?
Oh, fantastic. Good memories now that the career's finally over. It's always good to look back when matches that you managed to see filmed and televised and show the kids and the potential grandkids when they come along.
Was it only last season that you finished up? Was it East Stirlingshire?
It was East Stirling. I finished up when the COVID shut down. Obviously, right. I tried to get back out and try to get the game set up again. With East Stirling, never materialised, and I was always going to call it a day anyway in the summer.
All right.
I was touching 40, so I had to.
Pre-season scared you to death.
You see me get after 33, wouldn't you? All pre-seasons, put the ball in the box. That's what I used to say.
That hair ties worked well anyway, wee man. That hair ties worked well for you.
So no, it was, but I had good innings, so it's time to call it a day.
So how have you been since then? Are you enjoying the retirement?
I'm enjoying it. I'm missing football. I'm missing playing and training, but as you know, time stands still for no man. So
I know.
Then the next step was I'd obviously started my coaching badges and things like that.
Right.
I've been coaching at Murray Park, as you know. That's where we met ourselves, and obviously Jason the other end. But having to leave it into my new role, which you probably touch on later.
We will,
which was strange. It's obviously still in the football capacity, but it's not been on the playing field and it's not been on the coaching the pitch basically. So it's strange, but as I said, we've all got a shelf life and mine is over.
Aye. Now, obviously, you started your boys' career. Was it with Rangers?
Boys Club. I started with Hallwood Boys Club. Growing up in Pollock. I'm a Pollock boy. Born and raised. I joined Hallwood Boys Club, which all my uncles ran. My uncle Willie Smith started it in 1966.
Right.
My Uncle Willie's got 5 brothers, and they all had a big part to play in it. Setting the club up. And it was just natural for me to follow in the family footsteps. I got to Hallwood Boys Club. My dad played there as well, so that's what I did until I got to 14. Then I joined St Johnstone. I was training with Rangers from 12-year-old, and I think I was Hearts even before that at 10. So when I went to St Johnstone, it was just sort of it wasn't a pro youth setup or anything. It was Boys Club, St Johnstone Boys Club, who were one of the top teams at the time. And so when I went there, the next step was to go, hopefully try and become full-time with Rangers, and I was fortunate enough that happened.
Now, when you're talking about that age, at 14, 15, see at that age group, obviously opportunities in your life come along where football leads you to different areas and different opportunities come up. I hear a wee story about that age. You went to China.
I did that.
On a trip?
Yes, we went to China in 1993, right? 1994, with a Glasgow Select.
I heard about that side, aye.
That was Gary Gibson maybe telling you that? No,
I'm not revealing any sources.
Oh. MI5, aye. So, I went to China in 93, 94.
Yep.
We had a lot of good players who went on to have a good career in the game.
Yeah.
Robbie Nielsen was one. Right. Stephen Craney played with Celtic. Who else was there? You've back my brains now. There was a right few. I've got brain freeze.
A good experience.
Who's at Rangers? Oh, it was fantastic. It was eye opening because it was very, very third world. You know, kids begging in the street everywhere you went, everywhere. Yep, and totally different, obviously, from where we are. We take things for granted a lot of the time, and you think sometimes the poor areas of Scotland are bad, but then you go and see real poverty in a place like China. And I remember for that trip, I've never seen so many bikes in my entire life. There was more bikes on the road than what there was cars, quadruple, easily. And that was seriously eye-opening.
Right, obviously this source has mentioned this trip for a reason. So what went down? What sort of shenanigans happened?
There's a few shenanigans, but
well, you're there, so obviously.
Try to think. Is that the one with what toy guns?
No? I don't know.
Well, I'm obviously not going to reveal until you.
Oh, it's a bit of skullduggery here. I know it's obviously Gary just mentioned about the China trip.
Aye, Gaz was there. That was an outstanding trip. Let's say.
You roomed with him?
I roomed with Gaz and a boy called Chris McKee, who played for, I think, if I'm right, Clyde Bank at the time.
Right.
And it was an outstanding trip. We first of all went over into digs over there in a hotel, and it wasn't great. It was horrendous. But all the teams who were in the tournament had to stay in these digs. You're thinking 2-star at a push, but the boys we weren't eating because the food was that bad and the beds were stinking. So because Glasgow and Dalian were twin cities at the time,
right.
The boy for the Glasgow City Council who'd arranged the tournament had said it wasn't up to the standards that we should be in, and moved us and the whisked us away to a Holiday Inn, a 4-star Holiday Inn. Happy
days.
Oh, I don't think we could have survived, to be fair, another 10 days in this sort of slum hotel. That's what I'm saying. But the Chinese boys who went there, that was
Saint nature. Yeah.
Aye, just and that's what they're used to. And but for us, and that's me coming from Pop, we know very much. The next minute I'm sitting in, I've got a chef ask me how I like my eggs done.
Oh, aye, the wife.
I'm sure when you're retired, you'll be getting a wee invite to these wee sort of Legends tournaments shortly. After Durante and stuff like that.
Listen, I still will go and play football every opportunity. I'm going to join over 35s as well with my mate who is also my hairdresser. He's asked me to go and join Viewfield Rovers over 35s and play there. So I'll do that. It's every second Friday when the football gets back, and just to keep me occupied, keep myself ticking over. Because again, I've been fortunate enough to do something that a hobby and be paid for it. So now that I can do it, I'd gladly do it and not be paid for it. It'll cost me now.
Aye, definitely. Jason, any questions?
No, I obviously, Peter, we know ourselves through the academy stuff and whatever. I'm just looking back at you coming through your career with the Rangers guys. Who's the manager then, Peter?
The manager at the time, my first manager was Walter. Walter Smith. Then 2 years into it, wee Dick arrived.
Right. Okay. So were you like reserves then, or 18s, or were you just fringing at that time?
No, I went in at 15. I was playing 18s from like the year before I even went in full time.
Right.
I was pushed up a fair bit. I remember playing the BP Cup final at 15 years of age. You know, so and that was around the 18 tournament.
Yeah.
I think at one stage I was the youngest player to play Reserve League West football, and I was 14. So I was always pushed.
What sort of players? What sort of players then were in the first team that you sort of idolised? Was McCoy there or not?
McCoy was my hero. He was my hero growing up. Out with my dad, who's no longer here. McCoy was my hero, and always will be. I used to run about the back thinking, you know, and it's McCoy again.
Yeah.
You know, just in the
as we've all done.
Voice there, but it wasn't really good.
It's possible.
Woof! Right,
swept away.
So that was my first memories. Coisty, Durante. You know, and I remember my first Rangers game as a kid growing up and things like that. And my first cup final was David Cooper free kick against Aberdeen 3-0.
Oh yeah,
that was,
Rocket.
Rocket. That was my first one. And Rangers won it in penalties. Durante, the right saying Durante scored the winning penalty, I think, and that was '86, maybe Skull Cup.
Skull Cup. Yep.
'86, maybe '88. I'm no sure.
Because Aberdeen had a great team at the time as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, McLeish and Miller and Leighton and all these sort of guys.
Yeah.
But obviously, definitely. So with Rangers, being a Rangers fan growing up, obviously it was a dream come true, and to pull on the blue jersey. I mean, I'm the same Rangers fan. I've never had that dream. I mean, I know it was always it was an honour to actually work for the club and meeting guys like yourself. To go into the pitch wearing the colours, I don't know how that would feel, and scoring goals.
Aye, it was brilliant. Again, you touched on it, proud, because I'd only ever supported one club, and when you get signed your first full-time contract, it's amazing. And although I never played a first-team game, I still loved my time being at Ibrox. You know, I think I only played one testimonial. And it was against Morton. It was Davy Wiley's testimonial at Capello, and there was like 4,000 there, 4,500. I came on at half time for Reno Gattuso, and we won 2-0, and I scored the 2. And I was only 16 at the time.
Davy's a good guy. I worked with him at Morton.
Is that?
Aye, Davy. Aye, great guy.
I worked with him. So that was sort of a wee highlight of my time being there, and also having the opportunity to play with top players that would in the first team level where you train with them or whatever, or the ones who drop back down to play in the under-21s league. You know, it was you're always learning, and learning for two good coaches, and John McGregor and John Brown.
Bomber, I remember, I don't know if it was your team, a talk one day with the kids. Was it with when they brought them into Murray Park, into a press office? No, there were a couple of groups of kids, and Bomber came in and spoke to them, and in no uncertain terms, he explained what it was like to be a Rangers player and what the demands. It was really good though. Bomber's, he's the sort of guy you'd want in the trenches.
Well, there's no grey area, you know, with Bomber.
No.
You know, it tells you how it is, and it's up to you how you take the truth. You know, and I think you only improve by the truth. You know, false praise leads to false hope. And I think nowadays, and when the kids coming through, there's a sense of entitlement. You know, entitlement to game time for one in the academy structure, which I agree with. I do agree with kids getting a certain amount of game time, but not to the detriment of your best players. Yeah. So I'm thinking that if the kid's not going to get the game time that he should be getting, then let him move on to a club where he's going to get the game time and improve. You never know, he might kick on and you could come back to the club in 2 years, a year, or whatever it is.
How many times have you seen that happen? Oh, numerous. I was at Thistle for 3 years. It didn't happen too much at Thistle, I'll be honest. The way they ran it, Big Scotty Allison, he told the parents that game time
would have to be earned in the second year. There was no entitled game time, which because if they win full time the following year, they don't get game time guaranteed. So he was teaching them early for that. Whereas I don't think that would be wrong now to say that I would put that in at under 16 level, where your game time's got to be earned. And for any tournaments going away, that this is just a thought to myself. If you're going away in a tournament, as we are with Rangers, lots of tournaments, you're going to win the tournament. I was brought up to go away. Everything we entered, we wanted to win. We're representing Rangers Football Club. You want to go and win. Find a way to win. Good teams or bad teams, sometimes they're not playing well. They find a way to win. But three weeks prior to going away on the trip, that's when the game time starting team from the trip should be judged on. Yeah. So you get 3 or 4 weeks prior to that. Then you're there to win a tournament and get Rangers on the map, even at that youth age, because you want to be recognised. And the best way to get recognised would be turning up and winning the big tournaments like your Real Madrids and Barças and Ajax and PSVs are in.
Yeah. Don't you find that the parents' expectations are much higher than the clubs and the players? I mean, the club's expectation for the player's expectation of where he wants to be, and then you've got the parents' expectations. My son should be doing this and that and the next thing.
That's the parents are a big part of the problem, and Jason will tell you that. There's some great parents out there, and there's some deluded ones. I'll not mince my words here, but you find the ones that are deluded. It tends to have an effect on their kid. What they're saying to you, then what are they actually telling that kid back home? And, you're outstanding today, but deep down the kid really knows he wasn't very good. So he's getting again false praise, which then in the Saturday or the Sunday coming where he's not starting the game, he's asking himself questions. But I was really good, my dad said, at the weekend there or last weekend, and it just gives the boys mixed signals. So I think that you've got to trust your coaches and have faith in the coaches and listen to what they do. Let the coaches coach. My dad, even growing up from 12 to 18. My dad never, ever disagreed with a coach or said a word. He said to me, you took off. You weren't good enough, I'll be honest. So you're getting the same feedback. And he would never disagree, and I would never go in and disagree. If I had something to say, I would say it, but I'd say it in a respectful manner, and I would wait till after the game or the following day in training in the morning or whatever I had to say.
I mean, obviously, when you started your career at Rangers, how did you take the news that your contracts weren't going to get renewed and you were being released? How difficult is that to take? Because I could never imagine how that felt.
Was that the kids at 16, not getting full-time contracts? And
no, I'm talking about you when you were with Rangers playing.
Yeah.
And then how did you feel when you told that news that you'll not be required for next season and you're getting released?
That didn't work like that for me. I got to 20 and I was offered a new 2-year with Dick Advocaat.
Right.
Which was up to I was 22 and almost 23 in November. So I refused to sign the contract offer. So at the time, Rangers were due compensation for me, a tribunal. It could have went to our compensation, but at the time Stoke City tried to buy me. And Rangers wanted, I think, 100 grand for me, but Stoke City offered 50 up front, then 25 games, another 50, then 25 games, another 50, equaling over 50. But Rangers wanted the money all up front. I had a meeting with Dick Advocaat, and he says at the time it was the 221 rules, 221s on the bench every week. Yep. And he said he wanted me on the bench every week that season. And I said, no disrespect to you, boss. I seen Maurice Ross be on the bench every game this year, and he played 10 minutes out of all the games. And I seen how frustrated he was. And to be fair, Dick gave me a good answer. Well, boss, went to call him boss at the time, gave me a good answer. And he said, yes, but Maurice Ross is a defender. He's not a striker. We need strikers more than defenders. And when you think it, it's probably true because the Rangers were an attacking team and things like that.
Very much.
You're not going to put a defender on, are you, really? So I thought about it, and I thought, no, my time's up. I'd won the 21s league with Rangers. I scored something, top goal scorer in the 21s league that year. And I thought I would maybe get a wee crack, if you're on the bench, whatever. But I never got a wee crack, and that's when I knew I was 20 and I had to go and play first team football somewhere. And before you know it, back pre-season with Rangers training, and St Johnstone came in, and straight away they offered 125 grand, and I moved for 125,000.
That's a lot of money for St Johnstone, eh? 2001. 2001,
they sold Momo Silla to Celtic for 675. And that's how they got the money to go and buy me. And it was Sandy Clark that bought me. Sandy Clark and Billy Cutwood.
As in,
so
on you go, Jason. Sorry.
So it's not today with Peaso we getting battered with a sausage or anything like that. No, nothing to do with that.
No, that was when I was 17.
Hey, I'm going to throw in a curveball question. Pick a number 1 to 10.
9.
Number 9.
Squad number
9. Right.
Yes.
If you won the Euro lottery, what would you buy?
First thing I would buy. Oh.
Let's say it's 150 million. Euro lottery.
I don't know if I would buy. I think the first thing I would do would be look after those nearest and dearest, my pals.
Obviously.
My mum, my brothers, and the right people who I know have got my back. I think I'd make sure they wouldn't need to work another day in their life again.
That's a good answer. That might change in about 10 minutes after we go through more questions here.
Oh, sorry. That's after my Jag, my Ferrari, my Porsche, my Bentley. But that's what I would do, definitely. Then I could go and buy and share it with him and sort of share the money enjoyment with him.
You certainly had a good time at St Johnstone, eh? You had 201 appearances.
I think it was
204, isn't it?
204. 204.
Is that 200?
It's over 200, I know that, yeah.
And over 40 goals?
201, according to that. Right. According to that, Peaso 201.
Is it 201 starts? Is the Challenge Cup that in that? A lot of the times don't put the Challenge Cup.
No, I don't think so.
Sometimes they're not recorded.
I think it's 225 if I'm right. 225 and the goals are 57 or 56 or 7 goals.
I'm going to wreck this computer for my stats.
It's all right, mate. It's all right.
Right, so you had a good time at St Johnstone then?
Brilliant, loved it. A great 10 year. Fantastic. I've no regrets in leaving Rangers. The only thing I maybe have regrets, and it was due to me, would be my injuries. There's nothing you can do when you've...
No, you can't do anything about that.
Things like that, so...
I've got a true story for you, Peaso. The first time we actually met was you were with St Johnstone. And you probably know your mind of this. We met in New House Hotel. And it was after a game. I'd finished my game and you'd finished your game. And I think Big Holmesy, Derek Holmes.
Aye, Homer.
Big Homer. You were there, Holmesy was there, the gaffer was there, Dent McInnes was there, and I was there with Big Kerr, Stuart Kerr.
Kerr, I do remember that. We sat at the
pen. Aye, right. And all I heard was McInnes and Kerr going, oh, when we were in the Old Firm, we did this. And I'm going, oh, Old Firm friends. I said, no, because we would just step back, just carry on and whatever. I'm going, oh, look at them. Oh, remember when we did this together, Stuart?
Would Kerr have been at Airdrie? No. Goalie coach. I don't. Right, he was playing, was he?
No, I think he was actually trying to get back into it. Now you get his back injury, and I think he was going to maybe Dunfermline. Rings a bell. He was trying to get back into it. Or was he? Was he Airdrie? He was Airdrie goalie coach.
Back to him.
Aye, because I was playing. We were playing. I can't remember who we were playing, but I met him in New House after it, and all you boys were there.
I'm sure he was goalie coach for Airdrie that day. I'm sure. I think he was injured or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember that. I do remember that.
So who was the sort of Aye, that's when he'd hear.
The side shed.
Aye, by the way, so I did. Still there, mate. Still there. I'm drawing lines on it now.
He'd a mullet.
A mullet.
Aye, him and Cram had a mullet at the primary school.
Oh man.
So who was the sort of jokers in the team at St Johnstone? Who's the ones you had to watch other than you?
John Paul McBride was one.
Oh.
UAP.
Oh, what a player!
Well, that's what I was going to. That's what I was going to say.
He's coming on the show. We've got him on the show.
Is he? Outstanding. Yeah. Honestly,
that Sai and Slaney. See what a player.
Oh, it was different level. I think he's just Jai will tell you that himself. It was just his lifestyle that got Jai to the top, and he was outstanding. Even at St Johnstone, he came in steaming and still be one of the best players on the training pitch.
Cram was talking about him the other day. They played together at Stirling Albion, I think it was. And Cram used to pick him up for Hamilton. He'd have a bottle of Bucky before he came.
That's the eye.
Brilliant.
Stuart McCluskey was a centre back at St Johnstone. He was a winger. There was a few. Dan Jackson, my first year. Dan Jackson was there.
All right, yeah.
See, better a joker.
Jacko liked to laugh, aye.
What sort of pranks?
Were
you at the end of them?
No, I was usually in the middle of them. Just wee stupid things, boxers going missing, cutting holes in the boxers and real deep heat in the ball sacks.
The ball sacks, right.
What else?
That's naughty.
There was a right few like some bad shots, and sometimes the shots with sleeves would get cut off.
I was going to say that. I was going to ask that. Who'd the worst sort of clobber? Because, as you know yourself, footballers, especially nowadays, are renowned for having really dodgy gear.
Well, I was obviously the best dressed, right?
Right, but obviously, yeah.
So, no, there was a few. My first year there, and it's funny I'm saying this. The guy who I'm going to say, the gear he had on, I actually went and purchased a pair of them, the trainers, about 5 years later when they came into proper fashion. Right. It was Nick Dasovic, Canadian international Nick Dasovic, who played with us.
Right. Yeah.
Nick Dasovic used to turn up with the Converse on, the Chuck Taylor Converse boots with baggy bootcut jeans, and a shirt. And I used to say to him, "What the fuck are you wearing, Dasso?" And he used to say, "Yeah, you'll get fashion soon. You'll get fashion soon." But by the way, I'm kidding about the dancing Converse.
Talk about fashion, right? Talk about fashion. There is a wee story you like to wear gloves, especially ones for Liverpool.
Scotty Allison. By the way, Scotty, I've just a missed call for Scotty Allison there while I'm on this. Look,
was it me, Scotty? Was it me, Scotty?
No, we found a pair of leather gloves in Liverpool. And you're drunk. And we all short seats, you're wearing them. But we're sitting at the bar, they were creepiest gloves, as if it was a murderer's. Been at the pub, but it's gone at the bar with a pint, just drinking the pint at the bar with the gloves on. Everybody could see people looking as if fucking nappy. Wearing the gloves in different pubs. It was me, Scotty. I think Greg Stewart was one as well. We would do for the weekend to Liverpool, which I frequent when they do so. I've got good friends down there. But then the gloves, I don't know, the gloves went missing later on that night. But it was so funny because by Scotty's taking photos of, we're in this restaurant, bar, grill, and there was a knife on the table, but it was obviously a butter knife. And Scotty's took a photo of the butter knife in these gloves. And
Freddy Krueger.
Like O.J. Simpson. It looked like O.J. Simpson. No, that's by Scotty stabbing him in the back there, aye. But here, tell him don't be fooled by that.
Don't worry, we'll fight. We've got Dirk coming in him in a couple of weeks' time.
Aye. Oh, make sure that's on at 9 o'clock. Everybody go to sleep that night.
Right, another one. Pick, well, 1 to 10. You pick number 9 already.
Who?
Two. What we got here? The player that you played with. Nowadays, a lot of players have got tattoos. What's the dodgiest one that you've seen? Because obviously you've got guys like Jason Cummins, that's covered head to toe. You've got Good Wally, covered head to toe. What's the dodgiest one you've seen?
There's two. I can't just say one here. There's two.
Oh.
One of my best mates, ex-football player, big Ronnie McQuilter. Big Ronnie, known left-sided centre-back, hard as nails through his career, aggressive, you know, and I found out for one of his Ronnie pals that Ronnie, being a hard bastard as he is, having a tattoo on his hip of two dolphins jumping through a hoop. And I swear to you,
that's curveball stuff. That's just
he's got a big massive tattoo out it now, right? So it's under that. It is under it. But that's and the other one is big Griegsy, big Alan McGregor had, I think he's covered it now, a tattoo of a Black Panther with claws on his back.
Some Japanese shit.
It was fucking horrendous.
Probably that was the thing. I can mind you seeing a lot of guys have that.
Oh.
It was like blood. It was like clotting the blood in that as well.
Aye, that's it. And I was saying, what the fuck you think me? I think Peaso's got that covered over. I'm not sure.
You hear stories, he's a bit lightweight. He'll drink all day, but he's a bit lightweight.
Oh, Griegsy?
Aye.
Oh, big man can go. Tell you. Big man can
you seen him the other week here hanging out the motor. Community Murray Park.
Peter.
He's
like, that's some party. That's some party.
He's 12-year-old. I've seen him in worse states than that, I'll tell you.
Really?
Oh, aye.
Deary dear. So, obviously, as I was saying to Jason earlier on there, when I was at Murray Park, I'd done maybe about 3 or 4 of your games with you and your good friend Ricky Waddle.
Yes.
Now, my impression was two great guys, good cop, bad cop. And Ricky was the sort of bad cop because he was sort of to the boat, straight down the line. You were the sort of guy to keep the morale up and everything else. And obviously, a few times I've seen you on the coach where you would just wind the lads up and get a laugh together.
That's it. You've got to remember that they're kids first and foremost. You know, the good cop, bad cop was, I think, always the lead coach is always got to be the bad cop. You know, the assistant coach has got to be the sweetener and sort of, listen, don't worry about it, let's move on. Because Ricky went, as a top coach that I think Ricky was, you know, he was very, very, his points were very, very good for the kids. You know, he didn't fluff it up, you know. But Ricky, on the other hand, would be first to praise the kids. I like the bit of banter. I like to come down to their level, you know, and talk to them on their level because they're kids. And that was under 15s at the time with Kieran Dixon, Kai Kennedy's team, Nathan Patterson. That squad.
That's right.
Wee Billy Gilmore.
You took a word, and wee Dapo
as well, yeah. But you know, they loved a bit of banter. But that squad knew when training was training that was, you know, time to. There's no messing through the session. For one, Ricky when he stand for it, and I when he stand for it, and you obviously get the chancers. You know, wee Dixie, who was wee Dixie, could be prone to be a session wrecker, but on a Sunday, he's your best player. Gain it their all and things like that. You know, it swings and roundabouts. You need to. Some of the kids have got bad things and bad attributes, good attributes. It's just how can you manage the bad ones better and make them, make them better. But no, you're right. Good cop, bad cop.
Because when you look through some of the kids that have come through, I mean, it's a pity a lot of them don't make the first team. But there's big demands in Rangers, whereas if it was another club, these players would be first team regulars. I mean, I remember going up to Celtic training ground at Lennoxtown with Billy Kirkwood and Big Zach Rudden was playing, and he ripped Celtic a new arsehole that night. Big Zach was something else. I mean, and boys like Ryan Hardy.
Hardy,
I mean, they were great. Hardy was an awkward-looking big guy going forward, but what a striker, wasn't he?
He scored goals, a big fella. You know, he wasn't great. You know, he's back to goal, but he had serious pace, and he made good runs, and he could finish. You know, and he's proved that he can finish. And when you've got the attribute of pace, it's a big attribute to have. And a lot of clubs and managers like the threat of pace anywhere on the pitch, and Big Hardy had that.
Here's what I've always done, Peaso, rightly or wrongly. Everybody's got their own methods of doing things. I agree with the part that you were saying about the good cop, bad cop, lead coach having it. How I was doing it, especially with Airdrie, I would sort of switch it all the time with myself. I can mind going up to Inverness with the boys, and we'd beat 3-0. We get scalped, set a new one, and I'd get right into them after the game, sort of maybe old school way. And on the way back, the boys are like, Jace, one up the back. So we get this sort of karaoke thing going, and here's me going, giving it all, you all doing that. And your training night was a Monday night. Well, obviously, so it's a sort of recovery session. And everyone focused, boys' attitude was first class and whatever. And I think it's important. Obviously, you're at a higher standard than I'm. Obviously, I'm at Morton now, but are you still at Rangers now?
No, I had to get in with the new job I've got.
All right, okay. But you know the standards there. I can always mind that Craig Mulholland turned around and said, "We at Rangers, we need to win." And when I heard them say that, I went, Christ, that's pressure. That understand every week, and certainly the lower you go, and no being disrespectful to guys at our level, but that pressure's just no quite there on the boys. So, I think personalities between players and coaches is key.
Crucial.
What do you think?
100%. Yeah. Jason, I think no matter how, if you've not got a buy-in for the boys or your players, no matter how good you are tactically, if you've got a personality that the boys don't buy into, no matter how good your session is, your session's fucked.
Yeah.
The session's fucked. If they don't buy into you as a person first and foremost, you can put on the best session in the world and they'll not buy into it.
Yeah, aye. Yeah, 100%.
You've got to buy in. You could have a meeting at your own. You know, if you've got to buy in. And I think it's good that you touched on that you like to switch it. You know, sometimes you would be it. Because I would do that as well. And sometimes, because if I'm always being good cop, but for then maybe Ricky would go, you lead the team to half-time team talk today, and I would go in and I'd be telling him stuff and telling him it's not good enough, but doing it and at Rangers we weren't allowed to swear and things like that, and so you're telling him no certain terms, it wasn't good enough. You expect the standards to be higher, and Ricky would be the one going round and talking, you know, let's go, and be nice, because when you're switching it like that, the kids go, whoa, it's angry, we must be bad, or you know, they're not getting the same thing drilled into them constantly in the same voice, giving them it.
Yeah.
But I actually like doing that one, the wee role reversal.
I mean, obviously, we've been in a fortunate position. We've been at the training ground at Rangers. I came across, obviously, some great coaches like yourself, Ricky. Billy Kirkwood, I really, really like Billy Kirkwood. I got on great with Billy, or I like to think I got on great with Billy. Dave McCallum was a good guy to come on at the time. He was
top guy.
I mean, there were some great, but obviously you had great guys like Gary Gibson and Greg. I mean, some really, really great coaches, and I think the club had a fantastic group of coaches there, and then it changed, and then the man that really, really scared me in that office was Big Bill.
Bill McClan?
Aye. Oh, he scared the living daylights out of me. I mean, they were one. Can you mind Gerard? Aye, I know, but it's.
Back in the day, I know.
I wouldn't mess with Bill. Now, do you remember Durante used to had a wee rugby ball, and all you would hear is "incoming." Right. Well, one day, see when you come in the door, where me and the G-man would sit.
Yep.
Bill was off us day, and for some reason I had his big high back leather chair, and it was a bit wobbly. And Durant just incoming, and did I know phone my arse with it. And Durant was just, I seen the good side of Durant that everybody loves, but I've heard some of the scary side to him against Falkirk with one of the academy teams when when Rangers were going through the bad spell and there were staff moving up and down, like Dukey going up the stairs and Durant coming down and stuff like that. And that was one of the first games for Durante, and he ripped him a new backside. And it was good times, but really, really disciplined times. And I thoroughly enjoyed it there.
Durante would be, again, he's a born winner in his one things, and he knows the standards set at the club, you know. And across the road at Celtic, the standards are the same, you know. It's a winning mentality, try to get a winning mentality and teach your club the things that you want, and is winning. With Durante, he's been there and done it. So if he's telling you something that it's through personal experience, then why would you know when somebody's
you've got to listen,
done the journey, you know what I mean, and been very successful in that journey. You know, if Durante was a top player, top player after this horrendous injury. You know, I don't know what it'd been like before his injury. There you go. How good it was. I was just a wee bit too young just to recognise it. But
so going back to your career, you went on to Greenock Morton, where a club you spent twice, 2 spells with. How did you enjoy it at Capello?
I loved it. I went there after leaving St Johnstone. Signed for a year, and it was just to get back. You know, I'd left the Premier League to get down to the Championship again. Hopefully, it'd be the thing they're getting back up. Pardon me, and back up to the Premiership. And it was a good club, you know, an underachieving club. As probably it still is now, Jason. It's you know, but the problem with the club, I think, is it's been mismanaged differently. It's got the potential, especially when the fans are back in. You're winning, you're challenging at leagues. You know, the first year it would be a poor first year, third bottom. It was a successful year for myself, as in goals and things like that, but poor as a club point of view. I stayed another year that summer again, and we built a squad. We Moody built a squad. A lot of players I'd played with, and you know, we were going to challenge for the title, which we did. You know, and I just think we're a wee bit more urgency in it, and I would say it's a regret in a way where, God rest him, we Dougie Ray, and I know Douglas, the chairman, put a lot of his own dough in. It was losing 300 odd grand a year, his own money. I know. At that time, when you're so close to something, we were like 9 points clear at the top. Yeah, Thistle had 4 games in hand, but at Christmas time or I think it was in January transfer window, Dunfermline went to pot, so Dunfermline went bust. Thistle went and signed 2 players, and it was Dunfermline's best players. So they signed Jordan McMillan and they signed Andy Dewey, who would have played in our team as well, probably, because we were short. We had a good starting 11 at Morton.
Big Dowser, the centre half.
Big Dowser.
Ex-Rangers player.
Yep. So
good lad, top lad.
Oh, great boy. We had a good start 11. And I just, we added one player in, Colin McMenamin, which I think, yes, Colin was a good player, but I think we needed another position rather than a striker, because we had me and Peter Weatherson and we Davy Graham, who could play up top, and end up Spoonsy didn't play as much. But if the chairman would have went in and got a Dowser and put him in at centre back, you know, or put a Jordan McMillan or signed another couple of players, even to the Premier League, you're asking, you know, you're 9 points clear, points are on the board. You know, you still to play Thistle. You still to play them twice, in fact. So you could actually go 3 points ahead even if they win their 4 games in hand. But that was only the wee sort of regret that I think we never did. We finished second. Thistle won it, but the second year was a good year before I left.
Aye, I mean, I spent a couple of seasons myself at Morton. Dale Anderson brought me in.
Yeah.
And I finished up working with JJ and Housty. And then that was an interesting last day of the season where the two of them left before the game and leaving big Jim McAllister and Chris Miller to take care of the team. But I enjoyed my team. Like you said, I thought they were a good club. Obviously, Mr. Ray's trying to tighten budgets and keep it with the fans not being there. I mean, obviously the money's not there either, where these clubs at the lower divisions are very restricted with regards to finance.
I just think the wee differences for winning and losing, it's like fine margins. But if you're going for, if you imagine we did win it, Morton, and get up to the Premiership, we were nowhere near a Premiership setup. I think at the moment, I think we struggle to be a Championship setup. I don't mean that disrespectful, I'm being honest. You know, I think it's just the wee bits and bobs where food after training isn't there, breakfast isn't there. It's the wee things that you can kind of look after the players away from the park, but you can certainly look after them in the park, in the stadium, in training ground, and monitor their training, their gym, what they're eating, their refueling, their ice baths, all the wee bits and bobs, and that's
recovery.
Well, it's actually in there lately with Hoppy, before Hoppy left, he'd ice baths and all that and things, but when I was there, it wasn't there, and it was just a common. Before I went there, I was doing ice baths at St Johnstone, having lunch, make sure I was having to eat my breakfast, you know, recovery and massage and all that stuff.
I think the nearest you'll get an ice bath at Capello, Peter, will be a big blue bin with ice in it, with filled up with water.
No, what it is. It's a big container now. Have you seen it in the home shower? No, the home dressing room.
No. Can't get into it. I've been there for 2 years now, but never. Can't get in.
I was doing watching training no long ago, and it's a big, massive tin. Welded together, you know, and also when I was there, we trained at Park Lee in pre-season. Things because I was used to doing ice baths at St Johnstone. I would just go, Dundee. I was even Dundee when I went the second time. I would just go into the
water behind.
The sea and just got to the front.
Aye.
I was going to suggest that just out the door.
Aye, improvise, and you know, there's no excuses when the water's there, colder than anything.
No, definitely. See, because I started off with Dale in the academy, and like at Park Lee, but then Warren brought me into the first team because what they had was just 2 fans videoing the game.
Yeah.
But they were cursing and swearing and everything else, where they didn't do any analysis or anything like that, and having that in the footage, Monty fuck Morton and all that sort of stuff, calling players all sorts. So, but you had a good couple of years at Dundee as well. I mean, they seem to be your good clubs, where you've had a bit of success.
Aye, fantastic. I didn't realise how big Dundee were until I actually signed. It was Bomber who was the manager. I'd agreed to go in the March when I was at Morton. I'd agreed that, you know, and it took a wee while because Bomber, they didn't know where they were going to be. But Bomber says to me, it doesn't matter, I want to sign you for the Premier League or for the Championship, for Championship. So it doesn't matter. So I basically met Bomber and said, right, okay, I was signed. We got a deal agreed sort of May, and I went up and signed it in the June when I came back from holidays. I went away on holiday earlier that year because I was 33, I'd been 34 in November, and I knew what was happening, and which is quite rightly so, you know. What we doing signing a 33-year-old injury-prone striker, blah, blah, blah. So I thought to myself, I need to go up here fit as anything, get a flying start, and fortunately enough, I did that. I came back flying and had a very good start the first 10 games at Dundee, which got the fans on my side, and obviously we won the championship. I think I got 22 goals that year, and I get nominated for SPFL Player of the Year in the championship at 34. So it wasn't. It was a good.
Yep. I was going to say that your scoring rate was like 1 and 2.
Right, it was fairly decent.
Were you in the end of any Bombers rollickings?
No, funny enough, for when Bomber was at Rangers to then, when we met in a cafe to talk things, he said, by the way, first and foremost, I've no old school in me anymore. It's all gone. I don't shout and ball like a madman, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right. But I'd been speaking to like Gary Irvin, who was at Dundee, and Jim McAllister at the time, and they were saying Bomber was amazing. And I always knew he was brilliant. His training was excellent, but you know, it wouldn't have bothered me with his old schoolness because I dealt with it before and I was a man, so I could deal with it again. But it was generally outstanding as a man and as a coach as well. The boys loved him.
Do you think some clubs... Oh, sorry.
Sorry. What's he doing nowadays, Peaso?
He's scouting at Rangers.
Rangers, aye.
Was he scouting?
Aye, he's a full-time scout, aye, and he's in Ibrox.
I thought he was maybe doing some of the corporate stuff. See, well, obviously not the new, but when it comes to match day, yeah.
Well, I think he was doing commercial when he at one stage. Then he went into one of the head scout roles. I think he's scouting. You know, he goes to a lot of games, aye. So I know he's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you sometimes think that clubs sometimes miss the old school stuff?
I don't think there's any place for it in the modern game, but I do think a child should be told when he's wrong, or a kid should be told when they're wrong, or a first team player should be told when they're wrong, because if you keep getting them, let them think they're right all the time, and they keep making the same mistakes because they're not getting told when they're wrong, how are they going to improve?
Yeah,
you know, you're going to need to tell them the negative. There's negatives, there's winners and losers and everything, you know, but you need to tell them, right, okay, great, you got into a wide area, a wide player. This is a Cruyff turn, beats a man. There's another one, beats him again. His teammates inside, he can play it into him, but he does a third Cruyff and loses the ball. So you say to him, right, brilliant. Is it, well done, unlucky for doing the Cruyff turns, unlucky, great Cruyff turns? For me, I don't think it is. Because if he kept the ball and gave it inside after his first Cruyff turn or his second, then that's the right decision. Mm-hmm. You know, but he ultimately lost the ball. But if the kid can recognise, if you can show the kid, and you know that video analysis is the best thing in the world, the video doesn't lie. You can show the kid after the session or after the game and say, like, come on, this is what I'm talking to you about. When's the right time to pass it? Let him answer the questions, you know, as a kid. Let him tell you. And you get kids who disagree. No, I think I did well. I think I did that. I think, you know, you're like, whoa, that's the ones who have got the problem where they don't learn this.
Don't want to listen.
They don't want to listen. And ultimately, they're ones that will fall by the wayside. But the ones who pick it up quicker and say, oh, yep, and the next time the same situation happens in that area or a certain area of the park, but replicates it and makes the right decision. You as a coach get a buzz at that. You know yourself, Jason, you get a buzz at him going, he's made the right decision for something I showed him 2 weeks ago, which would have made the wrong decision in. So he showed his learning and he's took on your instruction.
Mm-hmm. See, going on that episode, do you think that particular kid who doesn't want to learn, do you think that might be a parental thing there as well to say, because obviously we get this, as you know, on a regular basis, my boy's this, my boy's doing this, blah, 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 and goes back to that earlier chat you were saying about, is it the right information they're getting? What do you think?
I think definitely, because you don't know away for the pitch what they're getting told. You know, after the game, just say for example, the wee wide player I'm talking about who's made the mistake there. He could score 2 goals in the game, right? 2 tap-ins. Been poor in the game, but he's away scoring 2 goals.
2 goals.
Made all these wee mistakes that his dad's saying outstanding today, son, outstanding, and that's what the boys thinking. No, I did this and did that, but I think. When I've touched wood, if my 2 kids grow up to be football players or get to a certain level where they've been coached, then listen to the coaches. You know, I can guide my son because I played there, but if the coach wants him to run up and do something different, then it's the coach is got to listen to it. It's not me, because I can't move him forward. These coaches got to recommend to move him forward.
Yeah,
you know, to progress him.
obviously going over your career to where you are now, Peaso, with your new role, has there been a lot of people that went from obviously player, coach, now you're doing agent work? Is that right?
Yeah. I'm a football consultant for a company called CAA Base, which used to be Base Soccer, but last year we got bought over by a big American company called CAA. I've got different branches, you know. They've got the music industry. They've got like Ed Sheeran, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Rick Ross.
All right.
They've got the actors, Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, you name it. They've got, you know, they've got the NBAs. They've got hockey players, NFL players. It's just a big. The thing they were really strong in was, as they say, soccer.
Right.
So the next thing to do is, when you're the biggest agency which they were in the world, you go and buy one of the best soccer or football agencies, and we were one of the biggest, most reputable regarding the way it's honesty and the policy and everything. The morals have been raised on, and we're going 20 years as well. So with that, just another string to Base's bow. You know.
What sort of players do you look at them, Peaso? Is it British-based players? Is it America? Did they ship them out to America, or what's the funding behind it?
Basically, there's 80 football agents around the world. You know, we're in 16 countries. You know, the offices. It started off in London, and when CAA bought over, that took us into America. But before that, there was still in a lot of. So we've got James Maddison, Kyle Walker, Danny Rose.
Gee whiz,
Don, Mourinho, Ancelotti, Lampard just joined, Dele Alli, you know, Rafael Varane, Son for Spurs.
You
know, that's just to name a few.
Oh, that's some biggie boys there.
That's the ones that keep the lights on, you know. So I said it was voted the biggest company in the world, most successful company in the world, in Forbes magazine for the 8th year in a row there. So and Forbes is a big, as you know, big publication. So
how did you get involved with the agency side then? Was it somebody you knew, or? Well,
I was approached. I was obviously in at Rangers and doing it at the SFA, doing the performance schools. And I guess somebody asked me, a friend of mine, would you be interested in being an agent? I said, nah, not really. You know, I've been asked to get players before, and some agents to give you money, and it's no floated my boat. I've no interest. I said, the only thing I would maybe do is, if it was serious, I'd need a salary, and I'd need things, support. And the next minute, like, Base want to speak to you, would you speak to Base? I said, I'll speak to him and I've got to say. And I was sort of blown away with the size of the company. I didn't realise how big it was. And I joined a week before lockdown, 3 days before lockdown, first lockdown. But I had to leave the academy structure, the performance school, which is sad to leave. But if I didn't leave, just been lucky, there's 0 hour contracts at the both. So if you're not working, you're not earning. And thank goodness I left to go into the new role where I was safe and a salary, a contract, and things like that. So I was fairly fortunate when I did do it.
So what's the sort of job remit then on a daily basis? Obviously with lockdown, I take it you're sitting like myself looking through a lot of footage.
Aye, it can be.
And Zoom calls and stuff.
Yeah, Zoom calls now and again. It's more to do with identifying the talent. I would be at games identifying the talent. I know the majority of the young talent up here because I've worked in it. They're no daft. When they asked me to come on board, they knew fine well
what you could bring.
One hand, so my remit. So they're saying, "Oh, he's coached at elite level for 5 years at Rangers. He's in at the performance school for the last 9 months. You know, he's played at the highest level in Scotland. You know, so he's played in all the leagues in Scotland. There you go. So you can. I know each player, where they're going to potentially end up, or You know, so I like to think I've got a good judge of a player, and that's basically, I knew that's why they'd approached me. But it's a strength of mine. You know, I seen it as a strength of mine, and going to work with one of the biggest companies in the world. You know, it was hopefully a step ladder to go on and really being a big figure in it. You know.
Do you work both sides? Do you get a remit from a club to look for a player, or have you got the sort of specifications of a player to try and sell to a club? Is it both sides?
No, what will happen is we've got players up here, and based Scotland alone, or CAA based Scotland alone, I think we've got 43 players that push over different ages. So We've got Andrew Considine, Joe Lewis is up here, up at Aberdeen. We've got boy Connor Shields at Queen of the South is got serious interest in summer. You know, we've got boys like that. But we for example, each transfer window leading up to it, we would ask the clubs, what are your requirements, what you're looking for?
Yeah.
And again, that's where we identify, is he good enough for that level, or is he way beyond that level? And you put in, because it doesn't work for me to put shite into a club, because the manager doesn't answer the phone the next time. And I wouldn't work like that. I've got to put in, think, you know what, he's not good enough for that. For Ayr United, for example, or for Morton, he's a League Two player. I'm not embarrassing myself putting him in there. That's where he is. Or he is a Premier League player, but you know, he could also play top end Championship in Scotland, or as an English player. I mean, we put him down south for, you know, it's just there's a variety of different things. But clubs will come to us with their requirements, and we will go and see what we've got to fulfil the requirements. But ultimately, it's the club that looks at them, does the duty on the player and things like that, and checks, you know, the footage and it's Y-Scout. You see everything on Y-Scout. You know,
that's right.
You go and watch full games of players, and if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, you know, you move on, and that's all you've got for the player, for the club.
As you two both know, you analyse everything. You can, anything you want in a player, how many times he's kicked the ball with his left foot in a match, you can just get tagged and you can get the final answer within a day or so. So you must have...
No, for sure, Peter.
No, I'm trying to skip through all that, carry on.
Maybe a week.
Are you still doing that, skipping through it?
Aye.
He's getting the right... He's getting the wrong players now. Aye, go look at that left back, Peter. Aye, that number 7 of the gate game of the day. No, it's the left back we're looking at, Peter.
Well, I started off doing that because obviously at the moment with St Mirren, I'm having to do a bit of analysis on the players that are out on loan. So, like you know yourself, with the lower divisions, they've got 2-3 games a week now to try and cram everything in. And with St Mirren, with St Mirren having 4 players out on loan, I mean, you've got 4 players, 2-3 games a week. It's just
12 games, 10, 12 games a week,
aye. So having to tag things like out of possession, in possession, different other wee things. That's why we all do the job, because we all love football.
That's it.
You know what I mean? It's
well. There's extra. It's no a strict regime with others. You know, you need to do it with the others to get it.
No, it's certainly not glamorous. I mean, you guys know yourself. If you're travelling away up to Peterhead, that's a 16-hour day.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's you, and a lot of sacrifice for the family. I mean, you've got 2 young kids growing up, Peaso.
I know. But it's you do it, as we say, it's for the love of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Right, so one of these other questions, 1 to 10. So you pick number 2 and number 9. What next?
5.
If you were a wrestler, what would your name be?
Big Mac.
Nice. Would you have a colour move?
Yeah. You'd need to have a colour move.
The Big Mac.
No, Big Mac.
By the way, I'm jumping in there. See the Big Mac. Is that got anything to do with your middle name? I've just realised your middle name.
It's fucking funny, Jason. I've been like
Sorry, pal. Sorry, man. Sorry.
You may go take the credit for it. On you go. Crack on it.
Well, no. In fact, no. I'll leave it in that one, pal. I'm going to leave it in that one. I'll leave it in that one. But I tell you, see on your playing career, see on your playing career, see on the goals that we've seen earlier on.
Yeah,
Clyde. There's a wee pal of mine that I see celebrating for your time at Clyde. Wee Scott Ferguson, wee Fergie.
Aye, wee Fergie, aye.
Aye. Does he no fucking look like Shermanator?
Don't tell him that. He'll grieve.
Don't worry, we tell him it every week. Every week. Shermanator. Top lad. But was Barry Ferguson then the manager then when you were there?
Yeah, that's why I signed.
Right. So how tight were Barry? I slaughter him about this because when Fergie was in it, when I was at Clyde, he was going for the 19s through to the first team when Jim Duffy was there. When Barry came over, we all just went, "Oh, that's Barry's boy." It seemed as if Barry, it was fair. Barry. We used to slaughter him for it, but was it that tight?
It was, but Fergie did his cruise ship just before I came in, the end of the tail end of the season, if you remember. And Fergie, he didn't play for the last 5, 6. Oh, sorry, it did probably February he came into the team again.
Yeah,
you know, he'd been out, but Fergie never gave him an inch. You know, he was on him, but I think he was on him because he believed in it could be better than what he was. Because we Fergie did have attributes. It was great, and it's probably strange why he never moved up with.
Yeah, I think injury had a big because that season in particular, the boy was flying. You know what I mean? Every week his name was in Sky and whatever, and I think the injury had was it his ACL? Was it his ACL? Was he done?
ACL, aye. It's crucial.
But I know because he's obviously a Motherwell boy. He goes about with one of my mates. But he's playing with Darvel now.
Aye. Mick Kennedy, aye. He's playing.
Aye.
They got a good setup.
What was Bob Malcolm like at the club?
At Clyde?
Aye.
Bob was probably my best mate in football. So we were roommates for growing up, for under 13s, 14s, get away with Rangers, to get away with Scotland and all that. We were roommates. Bob was brilliant. Bob's just Bob, you know. Bob was laid back.
He is laid back, isn't he?
Horizontal.
Oh man, I thought she when we trained at was it School of Arts or something like that? It's called in Glasgow. Aye. He very very appropriate because I didn't know him, and he was out the two. We talk about the good cop bad cop thing. Barry was a Rottweiler, man, honestly, and I can mind this is genuine. He phoned me up when he first came to the club and I had 5 missed calls. So I phoned back. I went, "Aye, you phoned me. Who's that?" I went, "He's like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" This went on for about 5 minutes. I went, "It's Jason Little." He went, "It's Barry Ferguson." I went, "All right, Barry, how you doing?" And it was just like, for then on, but he only stays a couple of miles away from me. And he's like, "Oh, you could fucking take me to the training and that." and I went, aye, no problem. And when we got there, Bob was bang on. For a guy, is it Castlemont Keysfay?
Springboy, Shelton.
Springboy, right. And I just did this class clown image in my head, and it was a complete opposite. But Barry, holy fuck, Barry, Jesus Christ!
Didn't suffer fools, Fergie, did he? If you didn't deal with the pitch, he was on you even in training. But again, that's the standards he was set with, you know, growing up.
Yeah, definitely. But a couple of seasons ago, I spent a season with BSC in the loan leagues, and we played Kelty Hearts. And the one, everybody, well, I had this perception of Bob Malcolm being like you guys, the funny guy and everything else. But at the side of the pitch, he's a different animal. Barry was a lot calmer than what Bob is.
Was he?
Aye.
That's unusual, by the way, because Fergie was always the one.
Bob was offering square goes with folk.
Oh, that was just Bob. That's Bob on a daily basis.
I thought, oh my Christ. I mean, you would obviously think, as you say, Barry's got very, very exceptionally high standards because that's the way he was brought up from a very, very young age. And you would think Bob was a bit the dafty, but no, Bob was, he was more aggressive than what Barry was at the side of the pitch. Different animal altogether.
No, that was nice. Wasn't it, for what I see? In fact, it was always Fergie. Bob was always just laid back, and you know, if he had to go and shout and say something, then he would. But he didn't say it as often as Fergie.
Was Ali Fraser? Was Ali Fraser then there? Peaso at Clyde, the goalkeeping coach.
Jim Fraser.
Is that not Alan Fraser? Was it not Alan Fraser?
No, we didn't have we had Big Jim. Big Jim.
Aye. Jim Lowe. Jim Lowe, aye, that's right. Alan must have moved up to Alloa at that time. Aye, Jim.
Moving on to the games today, St Johnstone and Dundee, your two former teams playing at the weekend there at the Cup. What do you think of their game? Or did you get to see it?
I didn't get to see it. No, I obviously it was 1-0 win at St Johnstone.
Aye, yeah.
I didn't get to see it, you know. But I did say that's a derby, you know, up there. It's obviously no the Tayside derby, but they say that there's a wee bit of rivalry between St Johnstone and Dundee. But no, I never managed to see it. I knew the score. I didn't get to see a lot of the goals of the weekend. I've seen a few.
Well, funny you should go into that, obviously.
You got them?
Aye, well, no, the St Johnstone game, because look, Y Scout, that for some reason that game wasn't on Y Scout. We'll get some of the goals for Celtic and the Aberdeen game, the Rangers game. Talking about Rangers, what's your views on them this season? What an exceptional season they've had, eh?
They've been a different animal. They've been outstanding, to be fair. It's been 3 years in the making, just gradually building a sort of squad that they want to, you know, to assemble a squad and with the same philosophy as the way they've always wanted to play. And to be fair, they've been outstanding, absolutely outstanding. I think the midfield, looking at the midfield there, they've got, if somebody comes off, whoever's coming on is just as good and can fill the position, you know, is good. And I think with the strength, you get the difference with Hadji in the wider areas as well, where Hadji, very good football player, but he's maybe not got the power and the pace of Roof, you know. It's good to, if it's not working, you can bring Hadji on to get into the wee pockets and things like that. But no, it's pretty, to be honest, it's a pretty outstanding season for what the lads have achieved.
One of the newer players that really excite me is Wright.
Scott Wright. I always liked Scott Wright at Aberdeen, even when he was on loan at Dundee. I think what my worry is he was needed a wee bit, so he didn't play as much as what he was maybe like to play. But no, I've always liked Scott Wright as a player, a fantastic football player, and I think he's got that. I didn't realise he was so quick, you know. Covered the ground quick, but he's fairly intelligent, and he's one-touch movement as well. It's fairly decent. Good signing, I think.
I think he's a very good signing, Scott Wright, because his first touch with a chance that he had, he never scored it when the ball came in. He was one-on-one, and it's sort of to the outside of the boot from behind him, just touched it on in front of him. I really like to look at him. He seems to be an impact player, but then on Saturday when he started the game, I thought he was near on, if not man of the match for the weekend. It was really, really good. I mean, for Rangers, for the league alone, I mean, what was it, 17 games at home, 17 wins, scored 51, conceded 2. I mean, they're just crazy records.
Unbelievable, yeah.
I mean, the back four, they're confident, and then going back to your old pal Griggsy, who's signed a year's extension to that, and they seem to be tying down the players like Tavernier and Davis and stuff like that. Do you think they'll tie down Defoe for another season, or maybe get him into a coaching role?
No, I don't think. I think the wages will be too high. To be honest, I think it's a big ask to sort of pay that salary again for a player who's not played a lot this year. To be honest,
no.
Although the experience, maybe the training pitch has helped others. You know, you never know. There might be a wee coaching role for him. I think if there is, he's got to decide what the script is. Does he want to play another year down the road, or become and go into Rangers as a striking coach or something like that?
I mean, because what we can do is obviously, I've got
what games you got, Peter? Did you?
Aye, that's what I'm just going to. I've got a couple there. Where obviously we were talking about Rangers there, so we'll look through their goals for the weekend. So the first goal was obviously Defoe, and the way he took this goal just shows his experience, I suppose. I mean, Davis has been fantastic. He's lined that up all the way. That's a Peaso goal, that, is it not?
30 yards, isn't it?
Aye.
Put forward into the next round, thanks to Jermaine Defoe from
that's a screamer.
I mean, for him just to turn.
Do you know how Peaso would try and play this build up for the back at times? I mean, they obviously Queen's Cove Rangers have obviously conceded that goal there if we try to build up play for the back and whatever. Do you think I looked at a thing that Graham Murray done on this United coaching convention? I don't know if you've seen it. It was like, and he was talking about build up play and whatever. He's like, what happens? We just go and keeper kicking it out. What's wrong with doing that? Is it wrong to go back to the way we used to be? And I sort of think that we've sort of got the Barcelona tiki-taki way that we come to Scotland. No, this is what we need to do. This is a new trend and whatever. What do you think of that?
I think if you get a philosophy of what to play for the back and you go into a club, a new job. You know, if your two centre backs can't pass the ball and your full backs are shiting the ball, your goalie can't kick the ball,
my dear,
philosophy's out the fucking Monday.
Right.
So it's ultimately results. It's a results-based business. I think there'll be times on, you know, with Cove Rangers, and you can see the Rangers press high and they still continue to play for the back unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
At League One, they'll get away with that, and they'll be able to. You can see on the AstroTurf, they could bop it round teams a wee bit because they were actually decent at times at it, but just when they got a wee bit further to the pitch, it didn't work. But
well, I'm going to show the Patterson goal. Will obviously show them their inexperience. Well, I wouldn't say inexperience. That's a wee bit disrespectful to them. Their inexperience of coming up against a top quality team like Rangers, where the high press, where
Kamara again onto Bassi. And an attempt back to Kamara.
So they're obviously trying to play it for the back here.
5-8.
Yeah.
So, I mean, would you think he would have passed that back into him?
Graham, need to be careful.
He's obviously not been prepared for the pace of Patterson coming in there.
No, it's for me, what should have happened to start with? I would have put it back to my goalie and says to him, clear it.
Onto Bassi.
You know, like now after I went back, I keep it. Let's get it back, force squeezed up the pitch. That's what I would have done.
Because he's not under any pressure there.
No, but as you can see, the pressure's going on for Defoe. I think that's Roof, and on the blind side, you can't see Nathan's reading this potentially. Nathan be keeping forward here.
Nathan's reading this is just phenomenal for a young laddie. It just shows you. You know, you'll know more than any of us, Peaso, the philosophy. This is taught right through the academy.
Well, the high press, definitely. But when it goes here for the centre back here, he shouldn't be playing the ball back across the other side of the goal, across his own 18-yard line. Oh, here.
Yeah.
I mean,
launch it, son. That's the shout, isn't it? Launch it, son.
I just think it's four passes too late. You know, I think knowing what's happening, you're getting pressed. Potentially you're looking at nearly half time. They've lost the ball, tried to ball it a fair few times. I know credit to them for trying to play, but it's to the detriment of their own team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me,
I think
the goalie gets back to the goalie and it goes up the pitch and we squeeze up for seconds. That's what I would have.
Seeing this phase here, you talk about key decisions can go well for you in a game and can go against you. Just looking at there, I just don't know what centre back is thinking here, because he's got about 8 blue jerseys and almost the final and his own third. For me, you're looking at his teammates to say, help him out with a decision here, because the one he makes is a howler.
But can you see it? There'll be Nathan's leaving in the picture there as he goes to pass it.
Yeah. Because here, he's obviously scanned that player. There's nobody near him. So when that ball comes to him.
But how far is Nathan? Is Nathan... That's
the thing.
Is he sprinting here at start rate, or is he sort of just read it here and he's went jog, then sprint? But I think he's actually sprinting as before it and reading it and knowing that he's going to go there.
But also the ball is played behind him.
Yeah.
When that ball comes up, right, so that ball is getting across the 18-yard box. Look, so it's played behind him.
I even think that though, no matter if it's played in front of him or not, Nathan's got a better chance of getting it.
He's running onto that.
Yeah.
So that was a really, really good goal. When we were talking about Scott Wright earlier on there, I think it was, I don't know if it was Ruth's first goal or second goal. I mean, there's Scott Wright there, number 23. Making himself available. Look at that wee flick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right again involved, and there's Ruth.
A great goal.
It's a great goal.
Front post.
Yeah.
Get to front
Very
post.
good for it.
What do you make of this guy? What do you make of this guy, Peaso? Laddie Ruth.
For the games I've watched, you know, I think when he's out the team, you see how much you miss him, as you would do with Alfredo being out the team. He's got £4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Has he give you value for money? I think he has, you know, but his big test will be next year.
Yeah.
You know, because people know what he's all about and things like that, and how he's going to play. Where Alfredo stays, I don't know, but you know, for £4 million, I don't know what's his goal ratio, Peter. You know,
see when he first come up. See when you're checking up, Peter. When he first come up, was it Leeds? It wasn't Leeds. It was who was he? He went and loaned for a year, didn't he?
I remember going back before he went to Leeds, messaging Derek McInnes when he was at Aberdeen saying, "You need to sign the boy Roof from Oxford." It was at Oxford. I said, "The boy Roof up front for Oxford, top drawer, only going to get better, young," and he ended up going to Leeds that year.
No. I know he did really, really well with Leeds.
2 years at Leeds, and I think he went to Anderlecht with Vincent Company. Took him to Anderlecht.
That's what it was. It was Anderlecht. Didn't really kick off from there, though, did it?
I think he was injured a bit. I think you know. I think if you look at his lot of availability, his game, he's not played.
His ratio is 1 and 2. He's played 19 games and scored 10.
How many? But look,
how
many?
But that's just in the league. He's scored a couple. I think he's up to about 13, 14 for the season.
How many in the last 2 years, though? How many games in the last 2 years have he played?
Last 2 years. I've not got that up yet.
Come on, what are you doing?
These analysis guys, mate.
Right, mate. Can I get him anywhere now?
No, no. Now, you talk while I try and look at it.
But all these uni laptop guys would have it within 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Shut up, you.
No,
These guys are killing me. These uni guys. So with the league, he's pretty good. But for the last couple of seasons, where is he? Come on, Roof. I'll get him now.
Play another game, Peter, if you're struggling.
No, I'm not struggling. Behave yourself.
Well, did you make go on the iPhone and check?
Christ almighty, I'm getting it tight here, am I no? Aye, go on the iPhone.
Bennett, Peter.
Aye,
we'll be here all night waiting on you. We'll be here all night on you.
You've run out of contract by the time you fucking get us up.
Please go, you couple of arseholes. I'm not getting it now.
Bennett, mate. Bennett.
Have you? Aye, good man. At least somebody's on the ball.
No, I said Bennett.
You said Bennett.
Right, so going on to one of the good goals that we've seen at the weekend there was Edinburgh City against Forfar. That's overhead kick. Have you seen that, Peaso?
I think it was my old teammate who scored, Lee Hamilton.
Aye.
I did see it, mate. I didn't think I'd seen it, but I did see it.
Oh, Beach.
Belter.
Cracker. Oh.
Perfect camera view to it, by the way, to the other side.
Aye. No, this is the Forfar club footage. So he's obviously just taking his touch here.
I think Lee's a centre-half, a right-back stroke centre-half. You know that?
Really?
I think Lee Hamilton played with me at Stirling Albion. Decent player, big Lee. You know?
What a goal. Great connection on it.
Excellent. It shows you better. See the other camera view. It shows you because the sun's sort of shining.
A lot better. And a lot closer lately.
It was closer. It was closer and you see him. I think, did he chest it? I don't know if he chest it. You know, I'm not unsure. Or if it just bounces up and he just throws himself at it. But it's right in the bottom corner. With serious power. Belter.
No, I think... Here I see it.
He does. He chests it. He chests it up into the air.
Just lines up well, doesn't it?
Yeah, belter. Absolute cracking goal.
So, I mean, the other sort of couple of goals that I've got a holiday was Kilmarnock. Kyle Lafferty scoring a hat-trick. That's a great signing for Wright, is it no? Donecully. Lafferty.
Who is the goals against?
Stenhousemuir.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, big Laff will be a good signing for him. He's getting on a wee bit, Laff. But again, I'd like to think he'll be able to
He'll get you goals.
Premier League level.
I mean, obviously a penalty, but you've still got to score these things, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, how many penalties have you scored, Peaso?
I think I've missed me.
Have you?
No, I don't know. I generally don't know. 5, maybe 6.
I think Paddy Martin.
In fact, no. More than that. So I hit him for Morton as well. I probably scored. I'll be double figures, and easily into double figures.
Did you always find them a sort of more pressure on you taking penalties, or did you just a natural goal scorer and you thought, I'm just going to bag this?
I was want to get my goal bonus, so
you're just thinking the penalties.
Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
I end up taking throw-ins and goal kicks and fucking everything. No pressure. You just pick a corner or pick where you want to hit it, and for me, put the fit through it. If keeper gets across to it, then fair enough. But if it doesn't, the quid's in.
It's 2-0.
Took that well for first time.
But actually, just feeds into the point I was making there. Just opening up for Kilmarnock.
I mean, it's pretty good where he actually starts it, holding out the players.
Mackenzie should have done better with his effort.
From Kane.
Is that park improved any? Peaso, when was the last time you played in that?
Oh, years ago. It would have been with Clyde. It was shite.
No, it was rotten, wasn't it?
You would, I mean, sometimes you'd find players maybe they might open up their body a wee bit if they could to try and go to the right.
Nice.
Or would you have took it first time as well?
I would have went first time. I'd have went my left foot, I think, but
Aye.
I don't think I would have let it come across me. I'd have just tried to guide it in with my left foot into that corner.
Because sometimes you take a wee step back, let the ball come
he's
across
hitting
your
his right
body.
foot. I thought he hit him. Right.
Into the point I was making
I
there.
think he's right,
Because obviously, if you're scanning, look at all the spaces that he's got to his right.
Yeah.
But how can you disagree with it? He bagged it first time.
Yeah, puts it in the pokey.
That's an excellent finish.
Yeah.
Aye, definitely. And then for his third goal, we might got his. Is that one of the AstroTurf pitches? Aye.
Chris Butler's a good bit here.
Defender gave that up, didn't he?
Aye, the central defender in the central area.
Aye. He gave up a ghost. Jesus Christ.
You can look back a goal before again.
Chris Burt's a lovely guy, Peaso, eh?
Yeah, great boy. Is it Rangers with Bucky? Good
Yeah,
lad.
he was on A licence with me. Top lad.
He's a good boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, how old is he now?
Well, could be
Buck.
36.
37, I guess.
Aye. He's still got another season or a couple of seasons, eh?
Look
But
at
also,
that. Premier League guy. It just depends. Does he want to go down the leagues or does he want to retire to Prem? So that's a lot. The question is, you don't know whether people want to finish at the highest level or they want to just come down and play for the fun of it and the love of the game.
mm-hmm. With the cup draws, obviously the big
37 years, Peaso, aye.
Is he 37, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Celtic versus Rangers, or Rangers versus Celtic. How do you think the next two Old Firm games are going to go?
I think it'll be tough. For Rangers now, I don't know if they're saying Eddie Howe, is he going to come in and give the players the spark and the jag they need to get into the next round.
I mean, that's a strange one. I thought they would have tried to get a manager in by now, so he could try and gauge what the players are wanting to do. The players can look at him and say, "Yeah, that's a manager I want to play for," rather than just waiting to the end of the season.
I think they would have had Eddie Howe in 2 days after Lenny went, if he could have.
Aye.
Well, I think they would have identified him, but they would be tit for tat with salary or contract offer with the wee tiny asterisks in the contract, the small print. That'll be all the stuff, and then he'll want to know who he can bring in, his backroom staff, his scouting. Then the first thing they had to do was bring a sporting director in, which they've done.
And
so I think Eddie Howe will follow the next couple of days.
You think he'll be in before the end of the season?
Aye.
Do you?
I think so. I think, why not?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I thought he would have been in by now. Now, I know they brought in the sporting director, or the guy to replace Peter Lawwell. He's coming in. Is it next month he's coming in?
Well, he's in now.
Is he?
Brought it forward, didn't he?
Well, I know they brought it forward. I just didn't know when he was. I thought it was in the next few weeks.
I think he's getting a changeover at the moment. And with him coming in, then a green light for Eddie Howe to come in, I think. There's no point appointing Eddie Howe when there's no sporting director there.
Mm-hmm. Because obviously that might change then with regards to like players like Edward and Aya, and because leaving to the end of the season, there's every chance that players could go.
I think he'll go anyway. I think Celtic's best players. I think Edward's got to go because he'll be a contract the following year
for next season. Yeah.
Aya, I think, wants to go. Other than that, who would go to a better team than Celtic? I don't mean disrespectful to the other players. So Callum McGregor, he's got a 3-year deal, and so I would say him. But Ryan Christie, they're talking about him going to Nice, isn't there, in the papers? Is it Nice or Nantes or whatever? So he's another one.
Scott Brown will be a big, massive loss for them. Peaso, eh?
Yeah, Scott Brown, but he's head on thinking about the future now and the coaching.
Yeah.
But I thought he might have got a coaching role at Celtic, Scott Brown, as a sort of middleman in between the transit to help with the transition for a new manager.
Well, you'd think Eddie Howe will want to bring his own men in that he's worked in the trust, like any other manager does. To have someone in that you don't really know, then can have maybe the effect where you not that you're no revealing all, but you're going to have to trust them. Then, as soon as the first wee bit is a distrust there, it's no your man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for me, you always bring people in you can trust. And you can get an honest opinion from, whether it's good or bad, then you take it how you want to take it.
Mm-hmm. But you know yourself, Peaso, Rangers and Celtic is no any sort of normal manager job.
No, it's big ask. It's not. It's bigger than Bournemouth by 20 times or times. Other than the finances doing it, England, Bournemouth's a Mickey Mouse club compared to Celtic or Rangers. I don't mean that in that. I just mean the size of the stadium, the fan base, and all that. That's a fact. But due to the finances now that the league and the Sky give, Bournemouth are probably a bigger club than Celtic. If you get me where I'm coming from, in the finances side.
Yeah.
So they would have had, 90 million parachute payment there?
Mm-hmm.
That what you get for getting relegated, 90 million quid?
Yeah.
It's crazy money. I mean, I don't know whether it was you or one of the coaches told me that when we were at Rangers that the amount of money even Southampton spend on analysis team for their under 9s and under 10 squads, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
They're throwing money, and were they not throwing money like futsal and stuff like that down there as well?
They've got that much money to do what they want. They can do everything. They can do everything. Academies are a different level from up here.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So, when you go, Jason.
Carry on, Pierre. Carry on.
With the Old Firm games, Celtic over the last 2 Old Firm games, I would say were a better team. But Rangers were lucky to win one and draw the other. Do you think they'll play sort of diamond formation that they did the last time at Ibrox with 2 up front? Because I thought that seemed to work well with them, where Turnbull was sort of head of a diamond. He would drop back if your right at the right side or the left side. That would trigger them to go forward a wee bit to close down the wing backs for Rangers.
Is that at Parkhead? The last
Ibrox.
When we won, Rangers won 1-0.
They played a diamond with McGregor on the left. Sorrow was the sitting one. Turnbull up on the right, and Christie was out on the right. Turnbull was up front, and Christie was out on the right.
Yeah. The fullbacks were pushing on. That's right. I remember it. I don't know. You know, I think that's probably the best formation that Celtic have played. Probably from playing Rangers, because they played it in a few games. But it all depends who's in. If somebody comes in, if John Kennedy comes in, I don't see why he would change it, because I agree with you. In both games they were better. I thought they were better Rangers both games, but I thought in the last Parkhead game, Rangers looked tired. You know, they looked like there was nothing to play for. It was done. You know, we've got Europe on Thursday. I think it was one of the sort of friendlies. You know, it's like an old friendly, but I know it's shite to say it, but it was true. It wasn't great to watch. But this is different. I think this Rangers will be at it this game because it's the cup. Rangers will want to go and win a cup. Celtic will want to go and win the cup. So it's got all the hallmarks of potential having a top exciting game. But you know, let's see how it pans out, because both teams will want to go in and progress with the cup.
I think there might be a wee bit more blood and guts than what there was the last game. As you say, there were nothing really to play for. So I think a draw suited both teams. But with this, what I kind of understand with Celtic is the lack of game time with Lee Griffiths. I mean, I think he's a fantastic striker, to be honest with you.
I think Sparky's got unbelievable attributes, but there's obviously something people aren't seeing. And is it his off the park? Is it his training? Is it his body weight, body fat? You don't know, you know. And it's obviously something.
Of course, there's always a bigger picture.
You know, I'm just seeing here, Peaso, Scottish Cup 4th round games, St Johnstone versus Clyde. That's an interesting one, eh?
Is it? Where is it at?
It's
McDermott.
McDermott.
Aye. You know, maybe.
The one for me is Motherwell versus Morton. Motherwell will be my home team at Fir Park.
And then obviously your employer.
Yep.
So obviously I'll be supporting Motherwell that night. And sacked in the morning.
Big Dale's going to be on the phone tomorrow.
45, big guy.
Well, anything else you want to ask, Jason?
No, listen, always a pleasure, wee man. It's great to see you.
Definitely.
Next time we'll have a good chat in the heads of ear. Great to. I did say Big Scott Allison, big man. I won't fling you under the bus, but you sussed it out right away.
It was only only 4
It's great to see you, Paul. It's great to see you.
Team with you, Jess. Long time no see, but
Peaso's been brilliant, mate. No, likewise, and all the very best for your future with the agent work.
Cheers, mate, and all the very best for the podcast.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, mate.
Thanks again, Peaso. Take care now. Cheers.